It's 9 a.m. and time to talk high school sports. It's time for the OKPREPS RoundUp. The most comprehensive high school sports show heard all year round.
Let's see what you got.
OKPREPS RoundUp is on the air. Now, here are your hosts, Ben Johnson and Michael Knight.
Welcome into yet another edition of the OKPREPS Roundup here on your home for sports, the sports animal, and streaming all over the world, including in Wewoka, Oklahoma.
Not Watonga.
Not Watonga this week.
All right.
You're streaming there last week. In fact, we're still streaming there this week. But this week, shout out to Wewoka.
I'm going to guess next week is Walika or Wewoka.
I really like Walika.
Okay.
I really
Outlaws.
like Walika. I'm Michael Knight, by the way. He is Ben Johnson. And this is the OKPREPS Roundup. Another busy week. A lot of baseball teams currently in tournament play. But other than that, I mean, it's just another week in the spring where recruiting is continuing to heat up. And just another week. Just another week has gone by, Ben.
Yeah. I mean, you got your football recruiting. We had football coaches going here, there, everywhere. Most of them, as you're going to hit on here in a second, leaving.
Yes.
And then you got one basketball coach throwing in some extra football in his spare time, upgrading from college to pro football. And
the coaching carousel in this state was running rampant this week.
Yep.
I mean, there's no better way to – and we're talking all sports. A lot of movement, a lot of decisions still to be made. We kind of alluded to it a little bit. Let's jump into the top three stories from this week in high school sports, shall we? As Ben mentioned, we had several high school football coaches leaving the state of Oklahoma, whether it be for other high school jobs or, in Kenny Evans' case, a college position. We start on Monday night where Bryan Pratt resigned officially at McAlester and was officially accepted as the new head coach at Bentonville West. Only problem with that is Bentonville West is not open yet, but it is in the process of being built. Coach Pratt will be a freshman coach this fall. That freshman team will lead into the new varsity team next fall. So he's going to be able to put his stamp on a program, and it's rare to be able to say you're the first coach, and especially in Bentonville. We know about Bentonville. They've come over to Northeast Oklahoma. They've played Broken Arrow in regular season play. They've played Union in scrimmages and participated in the Gridiron Classic there at Union Tuttle Stadium. So we know all about Bentonville. We have some listeners in Bentonville. The sports animal reaches all the way out to Northwest Arkansas and into Bentonville, Fayetteville, Springdale, and that just cluster of big cities or big towns in Northwest Arkansas.
So now you're going to have to throw Arkansas towns into your spiel of Oklahoma small towns.
That's right. We're streaming live in Bentonville, Arkansas, and streaming at Bentonville West High School, because that's where Bryan Pratt is headed. Another guy leaving Oklahoma for Arkansas is Greg Werner at Poteau. He led Poteau to the 4A state championship game 2 years ago, and which still was one of the most lopsided title games I've ever witnessed in person, as they ran into Anadarko, and Anadarko ran all over Poteau. But still, it was a dream season for Poteau to get to the championship game, led them to that title game, and now he is headed to Van Buren as the new head coach there. I had heard that also Vian's coach was interested in that position as well. So a lot of guys in Oklahoma looking out of state. Finally, the last guy is Kenny Evans, East Central head coach for 1 year, and he's one and done. We saw the Kentucky Wildcats declare for the NBA draft, and we talk about one and dones all the time in college basketball. Kenny Evans is one and done as a high school coach. He's headed to Missouri Southern, correct?
Correct.
You broke the story a little bit. You had some insider information. You texted me before it went down saying, "Hey, Kenny Evans might be gone."
Right. Well, I like to
position?
keep you in the loop.
Hey, I appreciate that. More information I can have.
He's going to be the defensive coordinator for the Lions.
Okay.
And I think it was 3 or 4 years ago, he had flirted with the head coaching position at Missouri Southern, opted to stay at Northeastern State. Mm-hmm. Then was let go, and kind of had a had that transition period. He took some time off, went to East Central,
Right.
got to coach Trayvon Cherry for a year, and now he's back in the college ranks. It's going to be interesting for Missouri Southern because under Darrell Day they ran the triple option. Well, now Denver Johnson's up there as the head coach, and
Yeah.
I would imagine there's not going to be a whole lot of triple option anymore.
Probably not.
No.
So it's a bit of a change there. Interesting how East Central continues to be a revolving door of head coaches. I believe this year will be the 5th different head coach in 5 years.
4th in 4 years, I believe.
Well, when you consider that, who was the guy?
Ben Bowling.
Ben Bowling. Yeah, he didn't even get to spring football
Right.
Before he was let go. I mean, you're looking at 5 coaches there. With you got Travis Hill.
I believe Travis Hill's final year was 2011.
Okay, so you got Travis Hill,
then
Ben Bowling, Bobby
Klink for 2 years, Kenny for 1.
Evans, and then whoever this guy is going to be.
Right.
5th head coach. There's not. It just continues to revolve around as and look, the East Central football team struggled a little bit last year. But they always have talent. They
Sure.
always are going to be one of the contenders in 5A. They're going to have some down years.
Yeah.
But the cupboard's not bare at East Central. It's not one of the other jobs in Tulsa Public Schools where they've struggled for a long time and they're probably going to continue to struggle. East Central's not one of those programs.
No, I mean, you go not bad when you can go from a Stan Von Taylor and DeAndre Youngblood and just kind of transition right into Trayvon Cherry. And those guys, I mean, I remember watching last year and a couple of their wide receivers, had really good frames, the type of bodies you like to see going D1 or low D1, something like that. And I mean, and those weren't the only guys. They had guys on defense as well that were solid contributors. So there's going to be talent to work with in that District 5A4.
Yep.
Always, if things break their way, could be a contender. Collinsville's going to be good for a while.
Yeah, they are. A lot of young talent on that team.
Sure. I mean, Kevin Jones has a rolling, but besides that, East Central could be right there on the doorstep challenging for a playoff spot. So
let's dive into topic number 2 in our top 3 stories. You alluded to it a little bit earlier. Clay Martin, the Jenks basketball coach. A lot of people know this. For those of you who don't, he's always been a part-time referee for football on the side. The last several years, he spent his time in Conference USA. He's reffed a variety of bowl games over the last several years. And it's been a rumor that has swirled almost every offseason that I've been around covering high school sports. Clay Martin's going to leave Jenks. He's going to the NFL. He's going to go ref in the NFL. He's going to leave Jenks. I've asked Coach Martin that several times because I've heard from sources he's out. He's
Sure.
leaving. He's going to ref in the NFL. And I've given him a call. Hey, Coach, are you hearing this? And he's like, yes, I hear it all the time. It's not true now. It hasn't been true in the past. Now it's true. Not that he's leaving Jenks because that decision has not been made yet, but Clay Martin was appointed as one of the new NFL referees. Definitely a congratulations to him.
No doubt.
But there's definitely going to be a lot of pressure on him, and we're going to have him on the show. We're going to have all 3 of those football coaches on the show as well. But we're going to be able to ask Coach Martin, what's the time frame? Because I know a lot of people in Jenks are worried about losing their coach. He's the winningest coach in school history, led them to several state tournaments in a row before a little bit of a gap, and then led them back to the state tournament this year. With TJ Washington coming back, Isaac Gilton coming back, Cole Surratt coming back, you have a feeling that Jenks can make it back to the state tournament next year. Who's going to be the head coach, though? Right now, it's kind of in limbo. Right now, it's Clay Martin, but you don't know if he's going to be there.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that plays out because, like you said, Jenks is a program that you like to know what's going on all the time. You don't like to leave a vacancy open for very long. I mean, you look at Alan Trimble several years back, didn't take but a couple seconds for Lauren Montgomery to take over and went right on their way. So, I mean, they want to have someone for sure. And, kudos to Clay Martin for the promotion. And, a lot of these NFL referees, whenever they happen to read a bio on the air, they're like an insurance agent or, some sort of occupation where they can be gone and it not be a huge deal. But when your preseason basketball starts in October and the NFL is just really getting going in October, that could be tough.
You have scrimmages in November. Most of the Frontier Conference teams start their regular seasons in December, so you don't have to worry about that until at least December. But you have tournaments, at least 2 weekends in December that have tournament and invitational play going on.
Right.
Jenks has participated in the Edmond Open the last couple of years, which runs in the beginning of December. So there are definitely going to be some scheduling conflicts, and he's already said in the Tulsa World that he's going to do the best thing for the Jenks program, and we expected nothing other than that. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what he does, and if he does step down, who's going to step in? Because again, you're replacing the winningest coach in school history, hasn't won a state championship, but still a lot of wins, a lot of appearances in the state tournament, and a lot of talent on next year's team. The final top story, like I mentioned at the beginning, a lot of baseball tournaments going on right now. The Pro 9 tournament up in Owasso, we talked a little bit about it last week. You also have the Bill Tipton tournament out west. Teams like Blanchard, Weatherford, Carl Albert, Shawnee, Westmore, just to name a few of state tournament caliber teams that are playing over the last couple of days. So also the Gladys Winter Tournament in Enid, we should talk about that. The championship games are set for those tournaments in the Pro 9. It's going to be Jenks taking on the home team, the Owasso Rams. Jenks swept Owasso in a back-to-back last weekend, including a little was it a one-hitter, or did he give up 2 hits in the Saturday game where Jenks shut out Owasso 2-0? It was either, I want to say it was a one-hitter.
I'll go with that.
But he might have given up 2. Either way, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's a shutout. It's a win. It's a back-to-back win over Owasso. First time that's happened in a long time for Jenks. In the Bill Tipton, it's going to be Shawnee facing Weatherford. Weatherford has knocked off Carl Albert and Blanchard. Blanchard, number 2 in 4A. We had a little 1-2 battle earlier this week. And then in the Gladys Winter, you have Stillwater facing Union. Union bounced back last week on Saturday. We had talked about on this show how Union looked kind of bad on Friday night against Broken Arrow. They bounced back literally an hour after we got off the air and shut out the Tigers on their home field. So Union doing some things right this week. Speaking of teams who did things right this week, let's jump into the top 5. Instead of recapping the entire week, because a lot of these teams are in tournament play, I just decided to switch up the game a little bit and spotlight 5 teams who had excellent weeks this week. And I have to start with Weatherford because holy cow. They're 6-0 so far. They have a chance to go 7-0 this week with a win. Another really good win over Shawnee. They beat Class A's number 3 Binger-Oney 12-1. They beat Elk City 11-3. They beat Carl Albert, 3-time 5A champion Carl Albert, 8-0. They beat 4A's number 2 Blanchard 1-0. And then McGinnis and Lawton Mack respectively yesterday 7-6 and 11-2. Weatherford's had themselves a week, and I'm pretty sure on this show last week I said there might be a chance Weatherford's not number 1.
I do remember that.
I know nothing about 4A baseball. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's just like you making picks, really, right?
I take everything back. I don't know. They should be number 1. They should be number 1 forever.
Well, now that you say that, they might lose a game early this week.
Today.
They're going to want you to do the whole reverse psychology thing, so yeah, whenever you can rattle off wins against top 5 programs, and then just I can't imagine how good that 1-0 game against number 2 Blanchard was. I'm just a pitcher's duel, down to the very last inning, and then you get a couple 5A teams, and have a good one with McGinnis, and then just blow MacArthur out, blow them out. I mean, not a bad week at all. Whenever you're pretty much moving up in a class and just handling your business, especially against Carl Albert too.
We mentioned Jenks. They went 4-0 this week. It was a one-hitter, by the way. I don't know why I didn't just look down at my notes. I had it written down. This is ridiculous. They beat Owasso 2-0, and they threw a one-hitter in the victory. They beat Bishop Kelly 5-1, avenged that loss a couple weeks ago in the Trojan Tiger Classic title game. They beat Tuttle 6-2. They beat Berry Hill yesterday 2-1. Union went 4-0. This week, we mentioned they beat Broken Arrow last Saturday 2-0. They beat Edmond Memorial 11-10, PC North 6-3, and then UConn 8-1. So a lot of West Side teams. They get Stillwater today, so a big test for Union out in Enid. Shawnee went 6-0 this week. They just took Capitol Hill to town. Holy cow. 29-0 and then 13-1.
Way to go easy on them in the second one.
Yeah, for real. In 2 victories over Capitol Hill, they beat the Oklahoma City Broncos, Chickasha 9-zip, Guthrie 8-zip, and then Ardmore 4-2. They're in that title game where they will face Weatherford. And Red Oak had a good week as well. They went 5-0. They beat Leedy 10-5, Tushka 6-zip, Stigler 10-5, Muldrow 10-zip, Keys 8-6. A big game in that tournament that they're in today, as they'll take on Vian in the championship game of the Central Sallisaw tournament. So a lot of really good games today in title game situations, with Jenks facing Owasso, Shawnee and Weatherford, Stillwater and Union, and then some small school baseball with Vian taking on Red Oak.
I don't know which game I would pick to be at. I mean, that Shawnee-Weatherford game sounds pretty enticing, but at the same time, you get Jenks and Owasso at Steigel Field, Stillwater Union. Take your pick. I mean, these are all good games. I mean, you can't no matter where you go today to watch some tournament baseball, you're probably going to see some good balls, so enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to talk baseball and continue to talk it in our next segment. We got a lineup of guests, 10 guests during this 2-hour program, so get ready. Get the phones ready in there, Spencer, because we're going to be making some phone calls.
He just gave you the thumbs up. He's ready to roll.
We're ready to go. Coming up in our next segment, we're going to talk with Owasso head coach Larry Turner. Danny Morgan is the head coach at Jenks. They'll face off at 7 o'clock in Owasso for the Pro 9 title game. We're also going to talk with Blanchard head coach Josh Raney and Sperry head coach Justin Timmerman. Sperry is still undefeated. Blanchard lost a heartbreaker to Weatherford. We'll talk to him about that game. Also, coming up in hour number 1, we'll wrap things up talking with Clay Martin, currently the Jenks hoop coach, but for how much longer he got appointed to the NFL earlier this week. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. We'll be back with 4 baseball coaches as we continue the conversation on the other side of this timeout. It's the OKPREPS RoundUp, not only on your home for sports and sports animal, but streaming all over the world, including at the new Bentonville West High School, the OKPREPS Network.
All right, listen up. Good Sense Deli and Subs on South Memorial wants to reward you with a free lunch between 9 and 2 each weekday. If the show host decides your call makes good sense, you'll get a free lunch.
You always dreamed as a kid that you want to be here.
So put on your thinking cap and give us a call, 918-460-5925, and try to get a free lunch from Good Sense Deli and Subs.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
Austin Chadwick, publisher of Vibe Magazine.
Get rid of conference refs. You have NCAA refs. There's no mandate down to a conference to their officials. None of that. They can keep you in your area, so don't give me the logistics of travel. That's not a big deal at all. Everybody is an NCAA referee, and I guarantee you it would be much, much better.
Tune in every Monday and Thursday at 9 to hear Austin on the Animal, courtesy of Excel Therapy, with 13 locations across eastern Oklahoma. The Sports Animal.
You can download the OKPREPS app today. Go inside your favorite teams with up-to-date stats, articles, pictures, and videos. If you can't make it out to a game, get notifications live on your smartphone from your favorite team. It's available for download not only in the Google Play Store, but also in the App Store today. Welcome back to the OKPREPS Roundup. I'm your host, Michael Knight, joined by Ben Johnson, as we are each and every single week. Our radio producer is Spencer Mayberry. Our producer on the internet side is Joshua Stokes. We are awaiting connection with Owasso head coach Larry Turner. The Rams, they played 3 games this week and took care of their business in all three in the Pro 9 tournament. They knocked off Durant last night. I was actually there for part of that game, and I'll tell you what, it was close. It was close in about the fifth inning, and then a couple Durant mistakes, and Owasso does what Owasso does. They also beat Hilldale. Hilldale's the other team in that pool that I forgot. They actually opened up tournament play against Hilldale, beating them 10-4. They beat Booker T. Washington 7-5, and then knocked off Durant last night. An impressive performance, a little runaway victory for the Rams in that victory last night. Jenks, they come in with wins impressively over Bishop Kelly, Tuttle, and Berryhill. So you know the Trojans are rolling. Plus they had that 2-game sweep over the Rams last weekend. They beat Bishop Kelly 5-1. They beat Tuttle 6-2, and last night they beat Berryhill 2-1. Impressive performance by the Trojans, an impressive week by Jenks. I'm interested to see what happens in this game tonight.
Yeah.
And how much last weekend's meetings play into it.
Yeah, I don't know. We talk about these tournaments and how coaches put a lot more emphasis on the district games. I mean, like Jenks, they're going to turn around and play Muskogee on Monday. That's where your emphasis lies. But I mean, when you're in a big tournament like this and you make the finals, you don't want to play terrible.
Right.
You don't want to throw out guys that have never played before, but at the same time, just kind of where you want to put your emphasis. A lot of these games are going to be good games. I would expect Owasso to give Jenks everything they want, just because Larry Turner is, Larry Turner, he knows what he's doing.
Right.
He doesn't lose to Jenks twice and not figure some things out along the way.
Yeah, and I mean, look, we'll see what happens tonight. I don't think we're going to be able to catch up with Larry Turner, but we are getting hooked up with Jenks baseball coach Danny Morgan also coming up in this segment. You'll want to stay tuned. We got Blanchard head coach Josh Raney as well as Sperry head coach Justin Timmerman-Sperry starting the season undefeated, so we'll see how they look so far. Now we got I got a black screen in here on the call screen. So which coach is this, Spencer? Not here.
Coach Turner.
Coach Turner. All right, we are able to catch up with Larry Turner, the Owasso head coach, into the Pro 9 title game. Coach, second time we've talked to you so far this season. How you doing this morning?
Doing fine. Thanks.
Now let me ask you this, and I was joking with Ben about this last week on the show. Just looking at the pools in the Pro 9 tournament field this season and seeing all the really good teams in Pool B, like Bishop Kelly, Jenks, Tuttle, and Berryhill, and then you have Owasso in the other pool, and then some teams that, to be quite honest, aren't on the same level as those teams. Who made the decision on the pools?
It was me, and I'll explain the situation, and it is. I would say loaded on that side. The situation is we try to keep Tuttle and Durant apart from each other.
Okay.
And with them traveling and, them coming up on the back end of the tournament, we've got to have local teams play on the first couple of days. Last year, Tuttle and Bishop Kelly was in our side of the tournament, so we try to, not play the same teams every year. And so we just push those two teams over on the other side. Berryhill and Jenks has an outstanding rivalry, and to be quite honest, Coach Haley always asks if he can play against Jenks, and so that's just the way it worked out. And there's no hidden agenda or anything like that.
I knew there wasn't, Coach. I just wanted to give you a little hard time to start off this morning. I can't wait to get out there this evening for that championship game as you'll take on Jenks. You lost a back-to-back to the Trojans last weekend. Do you bring up those two games going into tonight's at all?
Not anything other than the fact that we've got to play better because they're an outstanding team, and if we don't make the routine plays, that we have a slim chance of beating those guys. And I told Coach Morgan last weekend that they've got an outstanding club with great arms, and it is what it is. If you don't play good baseball against a good team that can pitch and hit, that you're going to have an uphill battle, and that's what we ran into last weekend.
Talking with Owasso baseball coach Larry Turner, won his 1,000th game earlier this season. Coming out of this tournament, you have a huge district series, a little back-to-back at the end of next week, as you'll take on Stillwater in back-to-back days. How important is that series for this club with the playoffs right around the corner?
Well, every district game is, very important. Those will be huge games, obviously, but, all of them. Then we turn right around on Monday and Tuesday and play Muskogee, and, Muskogee's got some really good players and got a kid that signed with Eastern and can really throw off the mound, and so, you got to win them all if you want to try to host the a regional tournament. And I think after we play Stillwater, then Stillwater still has to play Jenks, and so it is a long ways from being over. But we've got to try to win every single one of them.
Hey, Coach, we'll get you out of here on this. Don't want to take too much of your time. Plus, we have 3 other baseball coaches ready to go in this segment, having to do a little express interviews here today on the OKPREPS Roundup. I'm wearing an Arizona Diamondbacks hat today because Archie Bradley is making his first ever Major League Baseball start tonight against the Dodgers. You went up against Archie Bradley a couple years ago in the state title game. How special do you think that young man can be in the majors?
Oh, I think he has a tremendous upside. The sky's the limit. If he'll get in there and work hard, and he'd have a lot of great years ahead of him because he has the ability and the pitches to do that. It'll be interesting to see. Be pretty special for Archie to go up against. I think he's going up against Kershaw tonight, so that'll be pretty cool. And just see how he does. But I didn't think there was any doubt that he and Dylan both would make it to the big leagues, and out of that same class. And so I think he'll probably have a great career.
Coach, looking forward to seeing you guys out there tonight. Always glad talking baseball with you here on Saturday mornings. Thanks for joining us this morning, and we'll see you later this evening. Good luck against Jenks.
All right, thanks.
That's Owasso baseball coach Larry Turner. We mentioned it a little bit during that interview. Archie Bradley, the former BA star, is scheduled to start tonight against Clayton Kershaw at home. And I am wearing a Diamondbacks hat because of it. I don't have a baseball team, so I just root for the Oklahoma kids. Tonight, Archie's making his first ever start, so I'm repping the Diamondbacks tonight.
What would happen if he were going against the Padres and Matt Kemp?
Ooh. I think I'd still go.
Would you hope for a Bradley strikeout followed by Kemp hit, followed by a Bradley ground out?
Kemp's had his time.
Okay.
I'm going with Bradley making his debut and just, going all in on him. We switch gears now and talk with Jenks head coach Danny Morgan as they will face the Owasso Rams in the Pro 9 title game later on this evening at Owasso. And, Coach, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us on the show. Let me ask you, what kind of momentum did the Owasso sweep give your team? Because you throw the one-hitter last Saturday to get the back-to-back victory over Owasso, and then you have a heck of a week with wins over Bishop Kelly, Tuttle, and Berry Hill last night.
Well, they're very big from the standpoint that they're important for district standings. Obviously, anytime you beat Owasso with the Jenks rivalry, it's a big deal, but the districts is the most important thing. But it's helped us. Yes, our very young team that we're putting on the field is starting to mature, and anytime you can beat a Larry Turner coach team, obviously you've done something pretty good because he does such a great job with that program, and his track record speaks for itself.
Made it to the semifinals a year ago in Class 6A, was ousted in controversial fashion. How does this year's team compare to the one from a year ago?
It's a part of the family that we've tried to establish there, but it's just a new addition. We have some parts back from that, but each club takes on their own personality. But the foundation that club last year and those 17 seniors laid and our expectation level is one that we hope to continue each year. And I think these young men that we have now are starting to continue that. Early in the year when we struggled a little bit, like I think everybody did, because of the weather, and we didn't get to scrimmage and and things of that nature. When we went to Arizona, we didn't have a very good trip out there as far as the way we played, but we're starting to mature a little bit, and we can call on things from last year that helps this club and remember how we did things. But our personality is the same, our heart is the same. It's just a different club.
Now, let me ask you this, Coach. We're talking with Jenks head coach Danny Morgan here on the OKPREPS Roundup, not only on the Sports Animal, but also on OKPREPS.tv. Coach, I mentioned the controversial ending to the semifinals a year ago. Have you seen your kids use that as momentum this year and just kind of a driving force in addition to wanting to get back to the state tournament, but kind of wanting to erase the bad taste in your mouth?
We don't talk about that. That's something that we have no control over. Obviously, it didn't end up the way we wanted for that club. Mm-hmm. This club is trying to develop their own personality. So what we hope is to play pitch by pitch, inning by inning, and get better, and hopefully we'll have that same opportunity. But there's a long way between now and May the 14th. We've got a lot of road to cover, and we want to try to keep the tradition going that has been established there, but that's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
There's still a sting to it, but we're moving forward with this year's club.
And finally, we'll get you out of here on this. Looking at this Owasso game tonight, it had been a while since Jenks had beat Owasso in back-to-back meetings. What's it going to take for you guys to win 3 straight against the Rams, and this time again on their home field? Well,
we'll have to play great defense and pitch and hopefully get some timely hitting. And obviously we'll probably see either Gabe Neff or Trevor McCutcheon tonight, I would imagine. And they're both outstanding high school baseball players. So, and we haven't quite decided who we're going to pitch tonight, but we'll have to play with great emotion and great heart and do the things that we do. And if we do what we do is in our program, we'll have a chance to compete against them. But they're always tough to beat up there, but it's a great opportunity, and that's how we look for it. It's part of the road that we're traveling, and hopefully we'll have a great evening tonight at 7:00, and one way or the other we're going to move on. We got district games Monday and Tuesday, so but it'll be a great night, and a great night for high school baseball, great atmosphere.
Well, I'm looking forward to being out there. I told Coach Turner just before we talked with you that I'm looking forward to getting out to Owasso again tonight to watch that game. Good luck as you do look for 3 straight victories over Owasso, and obviously that'll give you guys a lot of momentum headed into the rest of the regular season. Looking forward to talking to you again, Coach.
All right, thank you for calling.
That's Danny Morgan, the head coach of the Jenks Trojans. We jump from 6A baseball all the way down to 3A baseball. We're talking with Sperry head coach Justin Timmerman now. He joins the program. Coach, thanks for taking some time this morning to talk a little Sperry baseball with us.
Well, I appreciate the chance to get on with you guys. We really do.
Now, look, everybody knows about Sperry's history over the last several years. Although Verdigris has had a stranglehold on Class 3A, Sperry has built a very tradition-rich baseball program. What has led to this year's undefeated start?
Well, I think it's the senior leadership this year. We have 11 seniors. And when I got this job 3 years ago, we knew we had a special sophomore bunch at that time. Even though the last 2 years, we've had kind of turned things around at Sperry from the previous year before I got there, and had the 1C going into regionals and just kind of fell short getting back to state. But with the seniors this year, we feel like we have a shot of getting there and hopefully getting back and bringing home the title back to Sperry.
Hey, Coach Ben Johnson, thanks for joining us. 3A is, whenever you see a Chandler team down at number 8, 3A is pretty deep. What does your club have to do to be able to overcome a team like Verdigris or Vian or Beggs come playoff time? Because I know those probably won't be teams you see in regional play, but, come state tournament time, what's something your team needs to get better at to beat those guys?
Well, not even the state tournament, but even for a regional, Ben, it's just, throwing strikes, getting ahead in the counts, playing flawless baseball, and, giving our shot to get to the very end. The last two years since I've been here, being a 1 seed into a regional, just making the few errors that we made and giving the other teams, that chance of getting ahead on us and trying to come back has been tough. So this year we just got to go out and play the baseball we've been playing so far in the first 17 games and having the confidence that we have, and our sophomores who are seniors now of seeing the previous 2 years of being a 1 seed and going to a regional and kind of falling short. Hopefully they've been there, they have the confidence now, and hopefully we can get back to state.
We're talking with Sperry head coach Justin Timmerman here on the OKPREPS Roundup. I'm joined by Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight, the host of the Roundup. Coach, let me ask you this. Who are some of the players that have stood out to you in the first half of the season and have been very helpful in leading this team to an undefeated start?
We have a lot of seniors this year kind of stepped up. We have got him Caleb Stout. He's our shortstop. He's leading off for us, swing the bat extremely well. And he's been pitching every Thursday and Friday, one of those days, kind of how the pitching rotation has been. Same thing with Madison Watkins. He's the guy who just signed with Cali County. He's been our Monday starter ever since the season started, and been one of our best arms. Clay Beagles, another senior. He's been our Tuesday starter. He's been batting 4-hole for us. He's also been stepping up, with his average, and getting a lot better this year, throwing first strikes, 0-0 strikes, getting ahead in batters. Let's see, Peyton Pratt. He's also been a Thursday or Friday starter. Peyton's been batting 3-hole for us. He's hitting about 540. Sorry for the noise in the background. I'm home with a 2-year-old.
You're all right.
So
nothing wrong with some
Peyton
background
Pratt,
noise.
he's one of our best basketball players. Also at Sperry, they've been in a state tournament for 4 years in a row. And with Peyton stepping up, batting 3-hole for us, and hitting 540, and also throwing the baseball well as he has on a Thursday, Friday start. Everything's kind of been really good. Ryan Eddings. Eddings' name is special in Sperry. His dad Jay and his uncles, Jeff and can't remember the other guy's name off the top of my head. But he's had a lot of pressure being at Eddings' name, and he's done a really good job coming in relief, starting at times. He's been batting 5-hole for us, playing first base. Our catcher Chris Waldron, who just signed with Oklahoma Wesleyan, his pop time is below 2, and the last couple of years he hasn't swung it well for us, but this year he's finally stepped up as a senior, have more confidence, and doing a good job, and getting those key hits when he has to, and his average is over 350, which we like our guys in 7, 8, 9 holes. Guys down there at least, hopefully getting to the 300 mark, and getting on base till we get back to the top of the lineup.
Hey, Coach, thanks for taking some time this morning. Looking forward to talking some more Sperry baseball as we move forward in the regular season. Definitely want to catch up with you again, and definitely looking forward to seeing if you guys can continue the momentum that you have right now with starting the season undefeated. Thanks for taking some time this morning and talking a little Sperry baseball with us.
Well, I appreciate it. Anytime, guys. Thanks so much for what you guys do.
All right, that is head coach Justin Timmerman at Sperry. We had to get to Josh Raney real quick. We're getting a hold of him. He is the head coach at Blanchard before we take our timeouts, and we got Clay Martin coming up in our next segment, the Jenks basketball coach, as well as newly appointed NFL referee Clay Martin coming up in our next segment. Sperry is an interesting story, and you mentioned a little bit. You have a Chandler team down there in Class 3A, just kind of lurking. Also, a team to watch out for is Heritage Hall. Yeah. They've racked up some really good wins so far this season, and that's just another team. They're ranked 6th right now in Class 3A, and they can probably make an argument that they're one of the top teams in Class 3A. So interesting to see what happens there. Momentarily, we will be hooked up with Josh Raney, the head coach at Blanchard, as the Blanchard Lions took on Weatherford earlier this week in tournament play and fell 1-0 in what you called a pitcher's duel earlier this week. Trying to get hooked up with him now, and let's bring him on. Coach Josh Raney, the head coach of the Blanchard baseball program. First off, thanks for taking some time this morning to talk a little baseball with us, Coach. First off, I want to start with this because we've talked about it each and every single week, so we'd be, selling it short if we didn't mention it again this week. How deep is Class 4A this season? Because I look at the standings every single week, and there are teams on the way down the list in the top 10 that I think could challenge for the state championship.
Well, first off, thanks for having me on. I'm pretty excited to actually talk to some people that want to get out there and talk about baseball because in general, the coverage of baseball in Oklahoma is not very good. And, just talking about what you said, I mean, we played Weatherford and got beat 1-0. I talked to Coach Gaunt after the game. Basically what you said. I mean, 1 through 20 in Class 4A baseball, you just don't know what you're going to get. It doesn't matter. It's wide open.
Right. Well, that's what we're bringing to you mentioned the high school baseball coverage. That's what we've been doing the last couple of weeks. That's what we'll continue to do as the season moves on towards the playoffs and into the state tournament. Looking forward to seeing how Blanchard and Weatherford may match up again. Let me ask you about that game on Thursday. I know it's in tournament play, and look, you can't put too much focus or stress into one matchup because you have several coming after that over the next couple of days. But did that game against Weatherford have a little added feel since it's 1 versus 2 in 4A? We might see this matchup again in the state tournament. Did it have a little more feeling to it when you played them on Thursday?
I mean, this is, I talked to them about that, about two good teams playing. That it has that, regional final feel, that state tournament feel where situations are going to come up through the game where there's really about what I talk to my players about 5 or 6 pitches or plays that in actuality out of all 300 or so in a game is what's going to win you the game when it's between two good teams. And, so it had that feeling about, we had four leadoff runners on 4 different innings and couldn't execute the bunt game, and we get 3 base hits behind those when we don't get it done. So that's what I talked about, execution, timely hitting, quality of bats against good teams like that. That's the difference in a 1-0 win and a 2-1 in our favor or vice versa. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, Coach. We'll get you out of here on this. Definitely want to talk some more baseball with you going forward as we move throughout the rest of the regular season and on into the playoffs, as Blanchard is one of the top contenders in Class 4A this year. What do you want to see from your team the rest of the way as you move towards the home stretch of the regular season?
I want us to continue on what we've established at the beginning of the year, that we're going to be all about each other. And what I mean by that is whatever it takes for the guy in front of you or behind you to get it done. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
right.
We've moved so far away from we're not even so much about this guy or that guy. It's everybody. We do everything together, have a really good group of kids, and we just want to make sure that we continue on the process. And what I talk to them about is each step is another process or moving in a forward of direction of where you want to be towards the end. And I said, as long as you stay to that process, you play every game like it's the most important game of that day, every at-bat, every pitch, and that's what I want to see, that we continue what we started up and through 22 games this season. Can we maintain that and stay and buy into where we're at?
Well put, well put. Looking forward to seeing how you guys fare throughout the rest of the regular season. Hopefully we see another matchup with Weatherford, or to be quite honest, I'll be happy with any of the matchups in the state tournament in Class 4A. As we mentioned, it is deep this year. Anybody can jump up and surprise some people, so looking forward to seeing how that tournament race pans out. Thanks for taking some time this morning and joining us here on the OKPREPS Roundup, Coach.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited that there's somebody out there doing this, representing high school baseball and sports in general at the high school level. So thank you guys very much.
We appreciate the kind words. That's Josh Raney, the Blanchard head coach of the baseball program, joining us. We got to take a quick time out. When we come back, we're going to switch gears a little bit. We're going to talk with an NFL referee, a newly appointed NFL referee. You may know him as the Jenks basketball coach, Clay Martin. He's going to join us after this timeout. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup, not only on your home for sports, the sports animal, but streaming online on the OKPREPS network.
Get in the swing of golf.
It looks like I'm a wreck. It's in the hole! It's in the hole!
Every Saturday with the Swing Fit Golf Oklahoma Hour. Tracy Phillips, Director of Instruction at Cedar Ridge Country Club. Dave Sidler, Oklahoma Journalism Hall of Fame member. And Ken McLeod, publisher Golf Oklahoma Magazine, will help navigate the local, state, and national golf scene every Saturday morning at 8. Brought to you by Swing Fit Golf. Get fit to play.
The crowd is just on its feet here.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
You've heard other dealers offering free oil changes for life, and you thought to yourself, there has to be a catch. Well, usually there is, except at Hodge Ford. Hey, this is Jack Hodge, and we are now offering free oil changes for life for anyone who buys a new or used vehicle. And that's not all. If you ever bought from Hodge, you get free oil changes for life. You heard right.
Jack, so you're saying if you buy any car or own any car from Hodge, you can get your oil change for free as long as you own your car? Are you a little crazy?
Maybe just a little. And hey, it doesn't matter if you bought a diesel or your car takes synthetic oil. We'll honor free oil changes for life up to 4 times a year or every 5,000 miles. Get a free oil change as long as you own your Hodge Ford. That's the Hodge promise.
You heard it from the owner himself. Free oil changes for life at Hodge Ford. Experience the Hodge Ford difference. Come by or call today or go to HodgeFord.com. Hodge Ford, 1200 North Main in Muskogee.
The sports animal. The sports animal.
Attention coaches and athletic directors, bring your teams to the largest high school sports network in Oklahoma at no cost to you. You can stream your games live across the state. You can join the network that has streamed over 1,000 varsity events in Oklahoma just since August. You can join the OKPREPS network today. For more information, email broadcast@okpreps.tv, or you can give a call to 918-615-9615. Again, the email address for more information, broadcast@okpreps.tv. This is the OKPREPS Roundup. I'm your host, Michael Knight, joined alongside Ben Johnson, and now joining us, and this is the first time we've ever talked with an NFL referee on the show, but so we're making history. Clay Martin, the current Jenks basketball coach, newly appointed NFL referee. First off, Coach, thanks for taking some time this morning, and congratulations on the new gig.
Thanks, guys. It's obviously just a neat moment for me and my family and everybody that's helped me kind of get to this point, but I appreciate that very much.
At what point in your referee career did you start thinking, you know, I'd like to end up in the NFL. I'd like to give it a shot?
Well, it's kind of hard to say. You know, you never know what's realistic and what your goals can and should be. But I would say probably 4 or 5 years ago when Mr. Austin, my college supervisor, told me, hey, they're really starting to give you a look. And when that happened, and then I got invited up to New York to interview 2 years ago, I thought, man, this could really happen. So I think at that point I really tried to step on the gas and just do everything that I could to try and make it happen.
Now, you mentioned in the Tulsa World that you're going to take some time and think about your future as the basketball coach at Jenks. Any idea what the timeline is there on a possible decision? I know that you've spent the last several years as a college football referee, but obviously the NFL will be more taxing on your time. What do you have a timeline on when you want to make a decision?
Well, you know, it's not really. To give you a short answer, no. I think what I've just got to be able to do is really assess and evaluate what's best and fair for my family, my wife, and my 2 kids. And then secondly, what's best for these young men at Jenks. And then obviously throwing in what's best for the next coach here. You know, if there is one, you know, you would want him to be able to get involved with summer stuff and those type of things. But I think really it's just what does all this mean time-wise? What's the commitment level now, and how does it affect those parties involved?
Hey, Clay, it's Ben Johnson. Thanks for joining us. What is, what's next on your schedule in terms of becoming an NFL referee? Will you guys meet collectively this summer? When do you find out whose crew you're on? When do all those things get figured out?
Well, this time next year I'll probably have a better answer for you. I haven't gone through it. I think right now it's just going through some meetings next month and obviously trying to pass your physical and fitness tests and whatnot, and at that time really just the summer kind of just depends on what the activities the teams are doing. We'll be working some OTAs in June, and then we have our summer clinic in July, and of course training camps and preseason games and things like that. So nothing official that I've received, but based on just previous calendars, I think those are the types of activities I'll be involved in.
We're talking with Jenks basketball coach Clay Martin. He was appointed earlier this week as an NFL referee. He has spent the last several seasons being a ref in Conference USA college football. Now, I'm going to have a little fun on this next question, Coach, because we do have a lot of Dallas Cowboy fans in this area. Did Dez catch that pass? And second question, does the pressure of being on a bigger stage concern you at all? I mean, there's a lot of scrutiny that comes with refereeing in the NFL.
Well, I'm going to give you the best answer I know how to give you and say I don't remember seeing that play or recall what play you're talking about.
There you go.
But I think it's pressure if you allow it to be. We're trained so well. Video obviously has become a huge part of training and teaching with not only players but officials, and it's fun. You're in these big environments, these big arenas, but it's just like being a competitor or anything. When the lights come on, you got a job to do, and it's your job to go do it.
And finally, we'll get you out of here on this. Just speaking from my standpoint, I've always enjoyed talking with you. I've always enjoyed watching your teams play. So from a selfish standpoint, definitely don't want you to leave the sidelines at Jenks. But if that comes as your decision, what is your fondest memory of all the state tournament trips at Jenks, being the winningest coach in program history? If it is over at Jenks, what's your best memory, at least right now?
Oh, gosh. I don't know if you can identify just one, or excuse me, if I can identify just one. I think for me, obviously playing in the state championship game and unfortunately losing to a really good player who's a lottery pick, shortly after in Xavier. But for me, I think, just being there 12 years now, you see kids that play for you that you had as 6-year-olds at camp, and watching those young men just grow up and grow into the people they've become is very gratifying. And then just a coach that has a son. My son's grown up in that gym. He was born our first year here, and so those are the things that I really cherish. It's just the relational side of things with these guys, and of course, obviously spending all those hours, countless hours with my son in the gym.
Well, Coach, we definitely wish you the best of luck in your new venture. Definitely looking forward to seeing what that decision is on the future of the Jenks basketball program. And without a doubt, we thank you for joining us this morning here on the Roundup.
Guys, as always, thank you, and just everything you do for high school sports.
We appreciate the kind words. He is the Jenks basketball coach, Clay Martin, also newly appointed NFL referee. Coming up in our next segment, we got to take a break. Hour number 1 is in the books, but coming up, we're talking recruiting. We're going to be joined by Mustang quarterback Chandler Garrett, one of the top-rated quarterbacks in the state, one of the top prospects in the state. We'll talk with him, catch up on his recruitment. We'll also give you a breakdown on which players got offers this week. We also have interviews with new Rejoice Christian head coach Brent Marley coming up. We have scheduled interviews with Bryan Pratt, Greg Werner, as well as Kenny Evans. All of those guys have resigned from their positions this week in Oklahoma to leave for out-of-state programs. All that coming up in hour number 2. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports, the sports animal, as well as streaming online on the OKPREPS Network.
Having a hard time keeping up with all things sports?
Do you have anything you want to own up to?
Your friends thinking you're a little batty?
The guy's nuttier than squirrel turds.
Then leave it here for all things sports. Playing sports is hard. It takes coordination.
Go out and catch a ball for a change, all right?
And timing.
We got time for one play. We don't stop the clock, it's over.
But listening to sports is easy. Plus, we're here 24/7. This is Sports. The Sports Animal. The Sports Animal.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
AM 1470 KGND Veneta, 96.1 FM KITO Veneta, AM 1490 KPIX Muskogee, AM 1550 KYAL AM Sapulpa, and K233 AU Tulsa, 94.5 FM and 97.1 FM KYAL Muskogee Tulsa. The Sports Animal.
You follow Ford, where savings and satisfaction are standard equipment.
Spring is here, and Eufaula Ford is having a spectacular spring cleaning sell-down. Every car and truck that has been with us during the winter must be sold. Listen to these stupendous spring deals. How about a 2012 F-150 Auto Black All-Power Extra Nice, just $24,995. Or an 06 Pathfinder White Leather Roof 2-Wheel Drive, $11,989. How about this 2011 Camry Extra Clean Auto, $14,998. Come by Eufaula Ford today and take advantage of these and dozens of other car and truck specials during our spring cleaning sell-down. The time is now.
Yeah, Eufaula Ford, on Highway 9 and 69. Yeah, Eufaula Ford, the best selection you're gonna find. Eufaula Ford.
Attention, everybody, mesdames and Miss Waz.
Listen this Saturday morning as we replay some of the best conversations and interviews from this week on Animal Rewind. Beginnings and endings. Kenneth Rumsey takes you through some of the best moments of the week.
I want this to be an event that everyone talks about always and forever.
Your home for sports.
97.1.
The Sports Animal.
Take part in the party.
Welcome back. OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports, the Sports Animal. For those of you watching on the OKPREPS network, you've already seen the amazing changes to OKPREPS.tv. For those listening on your home for sports, the Sports Animal, come look at the new and improved OKPREPS.tv. It's now more fan-friendly. OKPREPS has school pages for every school across the state with updated team pages, and of course, you can't miss the star coverage and live broadcasts. OKPREPS has become the state's all-around leader for high school sports. Check out OKPREPS.tv. If you're listening on the radio side, you don't need to. If you're watching us on the OKPREPS network, we thank you for tuning in. Each and every single week, we'll take a spotlight and shine it on the recruiting around the state of Oklahoma. Momentarily, we're going to catch up with Mustang quarterback Chandler Garrett, talk about his recruitment so far. He participated in the Rivals Quarterback Challenge last month down in Dallas. We'll talk about how that went, as well as how his offseason has gone. And we'll also update you on which football players got offers this week from Division I schools, and also a little bit of a breaking news for high school basketball. A prospect has announced his intentions on going to a Division I school. We'll talk about that momentarily. But first, we have him on the line. Mustang quarterback Chandler Garrett joins the program now. Chandler, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us here on the program.
Oh, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's start with last year. I know that I talked to you last night about some of the topics we were going to discuss, and I want to start at the end of last season, the last couple of regular season games against Owasso and Union, two powerhouses in 6A. You guys had them on the ropes. A couple fumbles late in the game cost Mustang possibly knocking off either one of those teams. Do those turnovers still bother you today?
Of course. That's something I think about in the off season. That's something I've been working on is turnovers, and I know that's something that really hurt us last year, and we could have really made some more noise than we did without them.
And now I know that shortly after the season was over, I believe somebody from the Mustang paper talked about how you guys are using the final score in the semifinal meeting with Union as motivation coming into this offseason, as well as spring football, summer workouts, and on into 2015. 52-7 in the semifinals. How often have you thought about that, and is that a driving force for Mustang football this offseason?
Of course. All around our football, our coaches, our facilities, we have 52-7. I mean, in the middle of a workout, you're struggling. The coaches yell out 52-7, and that's kind of our extra boost, I'd say, this offseason. That's definitely something players and coaches probably think about daily.
Now, a couple weeks ago, you did pick up your first Division I offer coming from Air Force. It's been a while, in a long wait, because we've talked about Chandler Garrett a lot. We knew that you were right on the verge of getting that Division I offer. It finally came, and I asked Austin Quillen from Jinx this last week. I'm interested to see what your feelings were. What was the reaction for you when you found out that you were finally going to play Division I football and had the chance to play by receiving that first offer?
I'd probably say it's a bit of a relief. I'd say kind of pressure off my shoulders a little bit. Something you've been working for, along with the state title, is getting a scholarship to play football somewhere, and being from a prestigious academy like Air Force. I'd say that's something that really made me feel good and kind of relieve myself from the pressure I was kind of putting on myself.
Hey, Chandler, Ben Johnson, thanks for joining us. You know, heading into this next season, what's one aspect of your game that you're wanting to improve upon? I mean, I see you're completing close to 60% of your passes. Is that a number you want to get higher? Do you want to become more of a dual threat and do more running? You know, what part of your game are you wanting to improve upon before the season rolls around?
I'd probably say my anticipation and my timing is something that I've really been working on with my receivers, just trying to get the ball right out of the breaks, and trying to, especially for the next level too, the windows are going to be way smaller, and I'm going to have to work on that starting now. So that's something me and my receivers have definitely been working on, is my anticipation and my arm strength, make all the throws for to win a state title and for the next level.
We're talking with Mustang quarterback Chandler Garrett, one of the top quarterback prospects in the state, right here in Oklahoma. Let me ask you this. You got the offer from Air Force, but obviously you're hearing from some more schools. What school, you hear it all the time on Twitter, it's, you know, who's showing me love? That's the phrase that a lot of recruits use, whether it's this school or that school. What school is constantly in contact with you, whether it's mail, shooting you a text message, phone call, whatever it may be? Who are you in contact with the most right now?
Probably it'd have to be between Wyoming, K-State, and West Virginia. I'd say probably the ones I'm most in contact with right now.
And now you went on an unofficial visit to Kansas State last weekend. How was that visit, and just the overall program? What was the trip like for you?
It was big time. Everything about it was top notch and class act. It was one of my favorite visits I've took so far. In my recruiting process, Coach Snyder and Coach Miller and Colin Klein, they were all really welcoming, and I really enjoyed it.
And finally, we'll get you out of here on this. You did participate in the Rivals Quarterback Challenge last month in Dallas. How do you feel that you performed? I know Josh from Rivals did a write-up on how the Oklahoma quarterbacks performed. He had good things to say about you. We had him on the show several weeks ago and, again, had some good things to say about you. How do you think you performed, though, down in Dallas? I
think I performed well. Camps are camps. I think what really matters is it come Friday nights or Saturday days or nights. But I've really been trying to improve it, and especially at the quarterback position. It's a lot of passing the high test and how you look. And that's really something I've been improving on, I'd say, too, as well as my anticipation would be smoothing out my stroke when I throw, just trying to make it look more effortless and easy. And my little brother, he's actually a freshman. He did better than me at the camp. He finished 5th in the accuracy challenge. So
now, is he going to be the next quarterback at Mustang? Because I saw a kid who's an 8th grader at Mustang, who's an up-and-comer as a quarterback prospect. Is there going to be a little quarterback battle at Mustang after you graduate?
I'm sure there'll be a little bit of battle, but us Garretts, we don't shy away from competition at all. And whoever the coaches pick to be quarterback, I'm sure they'll lead the program and take away after I'm gone. So we'll be in good hands.
Absolutely. Well, Chandler, always enjoy talking to you. You're one of our favorite quarterbacks to cover, always well-spoken, and always enjoy catching up with you. Congratulations on the offer to Air Force, and looking forward to talking about more offers in the near future.
Appreciate it. Thanks for everything you do for OKPREPS.
Appreciate that. That's Chandler Garrett, the Mustang quarterback. He actually took some time off work for that interview, by the way.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. He said, well, I'm going to be at work, but for you guys, I'm sure they'll give me a little break. I'm sure I can take some time off and do a little interview, so we definitely appreciate that. Some of the kids who got offers in the last week, and once again, we remind you, you can always check out the OKPREPS recruiting notebook. Each and every single Monday, we release it. Who got offers in the last week, who's hearing from some schools. We even update you on how a player feels his recruiting is going. We spotlight some every now and then, so you can always check that out each and every single Monday. Last Saturday, Bray Walker, the freshman offensive lineman from Southmore, was on an unofficial visit to OU. He got offered by the Sooners. Again, a freshman, and our good buddy from Rivals, Josh, he reported that is the youngest in-state offer the Sooners have ever given out, and it's to Bray Walker, the freshman at Southmore. And I'm going to tell you, you would think that's surprising after watching him in person in Dallas with his size, with his frame, and the mechanics that he already has as a freshman. I'm not surprised.
It cracks me up how young these kids are getting, and they're getting offers. I mean,
yeah.
I remember being in high school, there was a kid coming up behind, or I was in middle school, there was a kid coming up behind me that people were just raving about, and I don't know if anything ever happened with him, but I mean, it probably time to pump the brakes a little bit for college programs. I mean, I know you want to be on the forefront of finding out about guys.
Right.
But, I mean,
that's the problem, though, because if you start too late, you almost lose out on your choice. I talked with Bray at this thing, and he said point blank, if OU doesn't come after me by my junior year, I'm not going there. So, well, I mean, if
I guess each kid is different, but I would hope some of them would be a little bit more open-minded, and just play football your freshman and sophomore years, kind of let things play out.
I'm just saying, I know if you're a college coach, your whole future is based on, decisions of high school kids,
right,
which is insanity, in my opinion. That's why I would never get into it, other than the whole, fact that I probably couldn't, even if I wanted to. That's not the debate, though. It's insanity. You're basing your future off decisions of high school kids, whether it be a 15 or 16, 17, 18-year-old kid, on what they want to do for 4 to 5 years when they're in their early 20s, which isn't much better. So I understand that this is where we're going, and I just kind of accept it because, look, there's not really anything that's going to change unless the NCAA just says you can't do it. So don't stop now.
So why wasn't Bray offered last year as an 8th grader?
I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe he hit a growth spurt.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I didn't have tabs on Bray when he was an 8th grader.
I'll just throw on question after question at
I don't have the answers.
Okay. All right.
I have the answers to some questions, not those questions.
Okay.
Some other players who picked up offers this week include Dell City quarterback Terry Wilson. He received an offer from former OU offensive coordinator Kevin Wilson and the Indiana Hoosiers. You had a pair of Jinx defenders both picking up Washington State offers, with safety Dylan Stoner receiving an offer from Wazoo, as well as linebacker Austin Quillen. We talked with him last week. And then I'll tell you what, we had a lot of MACtion going on this week.
How long were you waiting to work that one in there?
I was like, I don't know. When did we start the show? At 9? Okay, about an hour and 20 minutes now.
All right.
Yeah. Toledo and Ohio showing some love to Oklahoma. Toledo offered Ulaga linebacker Jimmy McKinney, as well as Hera offensive lineman Logan Robertson. Then you have Ohio, which they had some success with some Oklahoma kids several years ago. Norman North's Tyler Tettleton and Bo Blankenship, as well as
sitting here trying to think of those guys after you start talking about MAC football.
Then Guthrie. There was a standout from Guthrie. Was Dante Foster?
That sounds right.
Yeah. So Ohio, no stranger to getting some Oklahoma kids. They offered Southmore defensive end Noah Jones and Heritage Hall offensive lineman Luther Harris. Jones also picked up an offer from the Army. So I almost combined Army and offer there. I kind of did, and just went right back into
try.
Don't try, because you're gonna sound goofy. Army and Ohio both offering Noah Jones. Again, we remind you can check out the OK Preps recruiting notebook. Each and every single Monday we release it with all the offers for these in-state kids. And also we have a list up on the homepage of every kid who has a Division I offer and what that offer is. Currently we have 25 kids in Oklahoma in the 2016 class with Division I offers. I mentioned there was a little bit of a breaking news situation in high school basketball. One of the top recruits in the state announced last night during an official visit that he has committed. Putnam City West guard Tyson Jolly. Tyson Chandler's playing in Oklahoma, everybody.
Wow, I missed that one.
What happened was I read Chandler Garrett's name on the computer and just combined the two. Tyson Jolly, who at this time last year wasn't sure if he was going to play basketball again. Not only did he come back and play this year, helped lead PC West to another state tournament appearance, made it all the way to the semifinals, and then last night he committed to Cal. They were one of the finalists, as well as Gonzaga, Minnesota, UTEP. He went on an official visit last night and went ahead and gave the verbal commitment to the Golden Bears. Now, look, it's just a commitment. I know that he has other visits scheduled. I don't know if he's going to cancel those now, but it is a commitment. We know a little bit, at least maybe, about the future of where Mr. Jolly's going to go.
Yeah, interesting decision, but I mean, much like Quanzo Martin, I was trying to remember off the top of my head who the coach at California was, but Quanzo Martin must have sold him on the program, and you could do a lot worse than playing Pac-12 basketball. So,
and look, I'm not gonna suggest that anybody shouldn't try to spend 4 to 5 years of their life in Berkeley, California.
Yeah, I've heard there are worse places in the world than Berkeley.
Yeah, I'd go ahead and say that's a safe bet.
Yep.
Might be a little better than Tulsa. A little bit.
Oh,
just
come
a little.
on.
I love it. I'm probably going to stay here my whole life, but give me the opportunity. I might jump to Berkeley.
Okay.
Do the Berkeley roundup with Tyson Jolly.
Then you got to learn all the small town California towns.
There's a lot of towns there, too. All right, we got to take a time out. When we come back, we're going to catch up with Sean Garner from Excel Performance Training. We do it each and every single week. He helps athletes in Northeast Oklahoma get bigger, faster, stronger, and we're going to catch up with him. He's going to have another training tip. You're definitely going to stick around both on your home for sports, sports animal, as well as on OKPREPS.tv. We're talking about how to get faster in our next segment. So for all you track athletes, even baseball, really it doesn't matter what sport you're playing, you can get better by getting faster, unless it's golf. It probably doesn't matter if you get faster in golf. Your pace is a little bit quicker.
If you're put on the clock, you need to be fast.
I guess. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. It's the OK Preps Roundup, not only on your home for sports, the sports animal, but streaming all over the world on the OK Preps Network.
The NL Central has been Cardinals territory. This year, St. Louis will battle to stay on top and fight to reach the World Series.
Bring it along and get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah.
Cardinals Baseball on the Animal is brought to you by Green Country Ford, Roofscapes Exteriors, and the St. Louis Union Station Hotel.
That's hit deep to center field. Way back and off the wall.
We're your home for Cards Baseball. AM 1550, 94.5 FM, and 96.1 FM, the Sports Animal.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
Patrick Masick, host of the Sports Mix. Catch Master P every weekday beginning at 9, exclusively on the Sports Animal.
Teams frequently shadow top players like #1 pick Jameis Winston. In fact, this is great stuff. Ready? We had a scout in Stillwater watching Justin Blackmon for 2 weeks. We thought he went to the bar too much, so we didn't draft him. Somebody was aside. Hey, Jim, come to my office. All right, listen, we're thinking about drafting Justin Blackmon. We got a top pick. I need you to go to Stillwater and just hang out in bars for 2 weeks.
The Sports Animal.
Hello and welcome back to the OKPREPS RoundUp. I'm your host, Michael Knight, joined again by Sean Garner of Excel Performance Training. We're back in the gym, so that can only mean one thing. You got another technique for us today.
Yes, sir, that's right. So one of the biggest things that we get parents and coaches always calling us asking about is, how can I make my athletes faster? What are some tips and drills that you guys use and implement with our athletes to help to increase that speed? So with our speed work, we focus on 2 main areas. We're going to have a linear speed day and a lateral. So teaching them how to run properly in a straight line, and then teaching them the change of direction skills that they need.
Well, you got a couple of volunteers here to help you show these techniques, so I'm going to let you have the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. We got 2 of our high school athletes. We have Blake and Kinsey with us here today. And what we're going to do, guys, is take you through 3 steps or progressions that we use to teach for basic linear speed development. So the first thing that we're going to do is called a piston. So for this, we're going to have the athletes get into a push-up position against the wall. We're going to make sure that the hands are in line with the shoulders, our stomach's nice and tight. Now the point of this drill is we're trying to teach that knee drive and that dorsiflexion, or that pulling up of the toe to the knee, while maintaining a tight, stable core. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start with this. So guys, get set, everything's nice and tight, stomach's tight, glutes are on. We're going to drive that left knee up. Ready, go. Good. So whenever we're doing this, we're watching again to make sure that knee's coming up, that toes pulled up towards the knees, and our stomach's nice and tight. We're making sure we don't have a lot of rocking back and forth through the lower back. Good, guys. And then lower it back down nice and slow. And then again, ready, go. Good. And then back down nice and slow. So again, we're making sure that they're able to maintain that core as they're going through this position. So next is going to be a reverse piston. So they're actually going to start at the top on this one. Knee up, toe up, heel up, the stomach's tight. We're going to aggressively push down through the floor. Ready, go. Good. Reset. Back up to the top again. We're making sure everything's nice and tight. Toes pulled up, knee pulled up, and go. Beautiful. Again, making sure that the core is tight as we've got that knee drive and that quick extension. After we've mastered it on the wall, we're going to make it a little bit more dynamic. We're going to come over here and we're going to do something that we call a lean fall run. So same exact concepts and progressions are going to be in place. Our stomach's tight, our shoulder blades are back, except now we're also implementing a little bit of arm drive and action into it. So they're going to keep their chest up, they're going to lean, and then right whenever they feel like they're back into that wall position, they're going to lift that knee up and drive through the floor. Ready? Here we go, off the right foot. Beautiful. So again, what we want to make sure is that they're able to maintain a stable core as we're running. That's one of the biggest things that we see with athletes is as they start to fatigue, we'll see this overextension or this overreaching or this overflexion or this hunched over posture as we're sprinting. But we're trying to teach and reinforce good, proper positions whenever we're doing our sprints. All right, one more time off the right foot. Beautiful. And again, like I said, we're looking to make sure that they can maintain that knee up, toe up, heel up position, tight, stable core, and that they're quick and explosive as they're extending through the legs. So 3 things that we do. We've seen our athletes get incredibly fast through it. It's what we use anywhere from our middle school to our pro level athletes to help increase that linear speed.
Fantastic. Fantastic work. Fantastic from the volunteers. But before we get out of here, for somebody who's been watching over the last couple of weeks and wants to get involved, can they just come in and try one of these workouts? And what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're looking to contact us, the best would be either on our phone number is 918-949-4223 or on the website excelperformancetraining.com. And if you are looking to get your athlete involved in our strength conditioning program, you can come have them try any of our courses for free at any time. Just give us a call or check out the website. Our strength conditioning athlete program starts typically at ages 11 to pro athlete, and then we're actually this week just starting a speed and agility program for those younger athletes that are maybe involved in some youth soccer or just trying to get the parents to teach them those good proper mechanics for 7 to 11-year-olds 2 times a week, just a 30-minute speed and agility class. Same exact concepts we use here, except we're going to use it into a younger athlete setting.
Just like you guys say, come out to Excel Performance Training and train with the pros. He's Sean Garner. I'm Michael Knight. We'll be back with another segment right after this time out, and we'll be back in the gym next Saturday. each and every single week with Sean. I'm Michael. This has been the OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports, the sports animal, and streaming online on the OKPREPS Network.
Golden Eagles want to take another Big 12 team down right now. They've knocked down OU and Texas Tech. The 1-2. Chop left side. Rourke backs up. The third baseman grabs, throws to first. Put the Cowboys on the list. The Golden Eagles win 4-2.
ORU is 4-1 this season against the Big 12, including a home win over Oklahoma State. They'll take on the Cowboys in Stillwater Tuesday night at 6 on 97.1 FM, The Sports Animal.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas. Friday, April 17th, the Event Center at River Spirit. Starship. Reserve seats at the casino box office or online at riverspirittulsa.com. The journey continues. Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas.
The sports animal. The sports animal.
If you're looking for a new and exciting career, OKPREPS is the place for you. The fastest growing high school sports network in the state is looking for a marketing sales director. If you think if you are perfect for that role in our growing network, you can always call us at 918-615-9615 extension 501, or you can email jobs@okpreps.tv. Change your future by joining us on the OKPREPS Network today. I'm Michael Knight, the host of the OKPREPS Roundup, joined by Ben Johnson. We're going to be catching up with Brent Marley, the newest head coach at Rejoice Christian, former head coach at Victory Christian. Had him on a couple weeks ago to talk about resigning from Victory, and didn't take him very much time to land at a new place. Also, you can vote on the Your Take poll question of the week. We ask, the first half of the 2015 baseball season is in the books. Which team has had the most impressive season so far? And right now, Broken Arrow running away with it. You also have Roth right behind them, as well as Sperry. Roth undefeated. This is small school, small town baseball showing some love on our Your Take poll. Ben Johnson and I will debate and give our choices for who has had the most impressive first half of the season at the end of the show, as we do each and every single week. But right now we continue the discussion with high school football and a man who has a new home. We talked with him a couple weeks ago after resigning at Victory Christian. Brent Marley joins the program now. Coach, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning. And look, I said it a couple weeks ago. I said good luck in whatever you decide to do. Hopefully you stay in state. And you just went up a couple miles up 169.
Hey, thanks, Michael, first for having me. Everything transitioned pretty fast, and it's nice to have a new home and not have to, be too far away from where our home's been at with family and friends.
What led, Coach, to the decision to go ahead and decide, this is what you wanted to do? Rejoice was the place you wanted to be. Pretty much, I asked you the simple question last time we had you on why now leave Victory Christian. Why so soon on taking another job?
Well, spring ball is approaching, and there's a lot of work as a head coach to do to get into that point. I wanted to stay as a head coach. I just felt like at this point in my career, I just enjoy it so much. The character development and the things we get to do with the young men that we coach. And so going to be an assistant was an option at other places, but this opportunity just kind of came out of the blue, just spur of the moment. Last week I was contacted and then interviewed last Friday, and one thing led to the other. The vision that the Rejoice family has, the campus that they're developing out there along 169, it's just tremendous. Looking at it, it just seemed like a great opportunity, and it's something kind of laid out in front of you where you get to start from the ground up, and kind of hopefully leave your stamp on it and get to develop things the way that you would like to. So that's kind of a unique opportunity. Plus just the leadership, Dr. Shaw, the superintendent, Wally Poplin, Mr. Barham, just the guys that I interviewed with and met with, just seem to be just outstanding men of integrity and character, and just a great leadership. It just seems like everything over at Rejoice is going in a real positive direction.
Hey, Brent, it's Ben Johnson. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, Ben.
You talked about Rejoice heading in the right direction, going to build a new stadium. Whereabouts in Owasso are they building the stadium? Because, if you go to Owasso and you're driving, if you blink, you could miss Rejoice Christian. They're on 86th Street North, and I know that they play on the football stadium on the other side of the highway. Where are they looking to build on the property, or where are they?
No, it's actually if you're on 169 and you pass 86 and 96, you get more into North Owasso, where all the new development is at, the restaurants and just different shopping out there. It's right off of 106. The exits 106 and 129th Avenue. And so right there, there's, I think, 64 acres that they've cleared out. They're working on right now. The elementary school's being erected. It's, it looks like it'll be done this summer, and hopefully the elementary kids will be in there in August. I heard that they poured the foundation for the high school and middle school yesterday, is what I was told. So anyway, that's all, tractors out there and guys working. This isn't a blueprint of something that they hope is going to happen in the future. It's something that's being developed and happening right now. The stadium will sit right off of 169. I mean, it'll be almost parallel to the highway. So that'll be a neat deal on Friday nights with the lights on and people driving by will definitely know what's going on down there.
Well,
Very
Coach,
nice.
Yeah, well, Coach, let me ask you this. Talking about football programs only, do you see any similarities between where Rejoice is right now and where Victory was when you got there?
There's a little bit as far as when I first took over at Victory, facility enhancements. We needed some of that. And number-wise, we needed to increase numbers, and so those are all things that need to happen. Rejoice is going to grow. Their elementaries, I think there's a waiting list for several grades. The new facility is going to have 5 classrooms per grade. It's going to grow into something, I think, pretty special. But, yeah, there are a lot of similarities. I look at, Darren Melton when he went over to Lincoln and took over as head football coach and AD, and they're just building facilities. And I've actually already called Coach Melton. I've set up a meeting with him to go meet with him just to kind of, pick his brain and get some insight from guys like him that's done it. And it's a challenge. It definitely is. But it's an exciting challenge, and it's something I'm looking forward to. And like I said, I think it's just a unique opportunity that a lot of guys can do this for many years, and they don't get an opportunity to, hey, here's what we're building. It's in process right now. We want you to come in and put your stamp on it and help us do this. And so it's just a really neat deal. I'm kind of a visionary guy myself, and I'd love to be able to be a part of a vision.
We're talking with the newest head coach at Rejoice Christian, Brent Marley, resigned from Victory Christian a couple of weeks ago. Coach, we'll get you out of here on this. Definitely happy that you're staying in state and also staying in the Tulsa metro area. Definitely good for us here in Tulsa. And we'll get you out of here on this. Where do you see this program being in 5 years? Obviously, you probably see yourself still as the head coach there. Where do you think this program can be 5 years from now?
Well, I expect it to be at the capacity of obviously what the building is going to hold 1,500 to 1,600 students, which that's a 3A, 4A level. We'll be Class A this next year, and then we redistrict, probably be Class A again for a couple years. And then after that, 2A, 3A, it's going to be, somewhere in there, and it may cap at 4A as far as the facilities and building. But I expect us to be an elite, private school in the Tulsa area, a top-notch one that does things right, does things with excellence. The kids that are looking for to go to a private school want to be at a place like that because they do it right, and they've got all the amenities and everything that you could offer to young men to be successful, young athletes to be successful, no matter what sport they're in. So I just expect it to be a place that, people know about and is kind of a staple around here. Someone said the other day that, like Lincoln Christian and Victory, where they're at, that, like Shiloh Christian of this area,
Right.
That's something we want to develop where it's a prestigious place that people want to be a part of.
Well, Coach, congratulations on the new gig. Always fun talking to you, and glad we could catch up with you so soon after talking to you 2 weeks ago. Good luck on building the program, and I'm sure we'll catch up again once spring football rolls around and on into the summer months leading up to the 2015 football season.
That sounds great. Michael, Ben, thank you all for what y'all do for high school sports, and I always appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely.
Thanks,
anytime,
Brent.
Coach. That is the newest head coach at Rejoice Christian. Brent Marley, also named the athletic director there. He'll, without a doubt, do a good job. And, again, selfishly speaking, glad he's not only staying in Oklahoma but in the 918 area code and just a couple miles up the highway in there in Owasso and taking over that Rejoice program, which is continuing to grow every single year.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a bad program either. They've been successful.
Yeah, I liked everything. You living out there in that area, you see the stadium they play in now, and it's a lot bigger than what a Class A program probably needs. But if Rejoice is building a new facilities, a new stadium, they're going to do it right.
Yep.
Just because clearly by talking to him, they have a vision and they're sticking with it.
We got to take a time out. When we come back, we're going to have 3 head coaches who are on their way out of the state of Oklahoma. We'll catch up with Bryan Pratt, Greg Werner, and Kenny Evans. They left McAlester, Poteau, and East Central respectively for out-of-state gigs. And in Kenny Evans' state, he is leaving for the college job again, going back to the college level. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. This is the OKPREPS Roundup on your home for sports and sports animal, and streaming online on the OKPREPS Network.
If you know your Philly trivia, the sports animal's going to send you there. To Fat Phillies, that is.
I'm going to get me some of that.
Every Friday, we'll play Fat Philly Trivia to send you and 3 of your friends to Fat Phillies at 1305 South Peoria. You can eat whatever you want. We'll play during the middle of the day show. Fat Phillies, rolling them fat since 2005.
Now that's fat.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.
Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas. Friday, April 17th, the Event Center at River Spirit. Starship. Reserve seats at the casino box office or online at riverspirittulsa.com. The journey continues. Starship, featuring Mickey Thomas.
You heard it on the animal.
For the Thunder, Friday obviously announcing that Kevin Durant will be out for the rest of the year and need 4 to 6 months of recovery after he's going to have bone graft surgery. Not real good news. It's hard to say anything good came out of that. But here's your silver line. A couple things. One, and follow me on. The guys in the locker room now know, hey, Kevin's not coming back. This is it. This is what we got. Us guys that are in here, we're it. Let's go. Sometimes that closure of knowing Kevin's not coming back this year will allow guys to accept and in some cases step up in a role.
The sports animal.
You can follow us on Twitter, OKPREPS, at OKPREPS TV. You can follow the football Twitter at OKGridiron, as well as the basketball Twitter handle at OKHardwood, all under the umbrella of the OKPREPS network. Follow us on Twitter today and get up to minute updates on all your OKPREPS news. Waiting to catch up with the newest Bentonville West head coach. And right now, Bentonville West doesn't exist, but they are constructing that high school as we speak in Northwest Arkansas. We're joined by the first ever head coach of that football program, Bryan Pratt. He resigned at McAlester to take over that program. Coach, we talked earlier this week once the board made it official on Monday. Talk a little bit about what Bentonville West is for us Oklahomans who are familiar with Bentonville High School but have no idea what I'm talking about when we say Bentonville West.
Well, obviously, Bentonville school system pretty much speaks for itself. As if you look at Max Prep, they were School of the Year last year. I think winning 12 out of 17 state championships, and they rank in the top 80 public schools in the country academically. So it's a huge opportunity to go to a place like that where they have a lot of success and the kids understand how to win. And if you're going to build a new program, you might as well do it at a place that's going to do things right.
Now, let me ask you this, because Bentonville West is a new program, you're going to be able to put your stamp on just about everything with the new high school. How intriguing was that to your decision, and what kind of role did that play?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up, Michael. I couldn't hear you. I'm at the Southeastern Spring game, and I lost you there for a second. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Coach. We still got you. We had all that noise in the background. Hopefully, Caden's having a good spring game. For those of you who don't know, Brian Pratt's son, Caden Pratt, signed his letter.
I'm getting to be dad a little bit. I don't get to do that very often. So
that's right.
What was your question? I'm sorry.
I was just asking how intriguing it is to be able to put your stamp on this program and just about everything in every aspect, being the first head coach. How intriguing was that to your decision?
Well, that was the one thing that kind of got me going as far as wanting to do this was the opportunity to go in and hire my staff completely from the ground up to design a mascot, which we're doing right now. I mean, you got to realize when you have no tradition, you got to go make some. So everything that we're trying to do, starting 2016, will be for Bentonville West to develop some tradition and winning aspect like they have at Bentonville High. And if you're not familiar with it, the school is like literally right now in bricks and concrete and all kinds of stuff on the ground because it actually doesn't start until 2016. So you get to design the weight room and the locker room and, obviously all the equipment that's going to be bought in the jerseys. And so it's a really cool experience to get to do this. Not many coaches get the opportunity to do it. So, we're really excited with the chance to go over there and try to build something and make it special.
We're talking with the newest head coach at the first ever head coach at Bentonville West High School in Arkansas, the former McAlester head coach. Coach, let me ask you this. What's your favorite memory at McAlester? You've obviously led the team to a state championship appearance in 2013, several appearances in the 5A semifinals. What's your best memory at McAlester?
I've been asked that several times, and obviously probably the best memory is just getting to watch this. It's kind of turned into a monster. Watched it grow into a team that we took over in 2008 that was struggling and end up being the type of program that when you talk about 5A football, the name comes into it. So obviously that was something to be proud of. But I'm selfish in saying that the most enjoyable thing I done was get to coach my son, and he had a lot of success and got to have him be a part of something special to me and something that we'll never forget.
And, Coach, we'll get you out of here on this. Being able to start a program and put your stamp on just about everything is very intriguing. But you talked with me on Monday night about a little bit of reluctance with the whole new school type thing. Talk a little bit about the reluctance at first and how quickly that evaporated the more they talked about it.
Yeah, you talking about the actual hiring process of it?
Yes.
Well, actually, I was in the final two for the Bentonville job. The Bentonville school will operate as Bentonville High School only one more year. They've won back-to-back state titles. It's a great program. The facilities are phenomenal, and that's the reason I applied for it. Was the reason because it's a top-notch place, one of the best places in the country, and so I made it to the final two of those. And obviously, as you look back on it now, it's probably a good thing for me that things happened the way they did because they're back-to-back state champions. They've got all their staff coming back and wanting to stay there, and a new guy coming in wanting to do things different might be a little bit difficult. So they hired their defensive coordinator, and Coach Grant's a great coach, and he'll do a great job with the program. And they actually weren't supposed to hire the head coach for West for quite a while next year about this time, and so they went ahead and felt like that it was the best thing for them to that I fit the mold for being the head coach at West and starting the program and getting to build it from the ground up. And so they talked to me a little bit about it, and obviously, some things had to fall into place, but all that did, and so now you're sitting here and you're the new and only head coach at Bentonville West, and we're excited to get it started.
Hey, Coach, always enjoy talking to you. Congrats on the new gig. Sorry to see you leave Oklahoma, but we definitely wish you nothing but the best in your new venture in Arkansas.
I'm not that far away, so I still expect a phone call every now and again to get a little coverage on the sports channel.
Well, absolutely. We'll do that. Coach, congrats on the new gig, and enjoy that spring game.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
That is former McAlester head coach Bryan Pratt joining us, taking over the Bentonville West program. And again, I mentioned Bentonville has had a history playing in Oklahoma, so I imagine Bentonville West might do the same, especially considering who the head coach is. Now joining us is the former Poteau head coach, another coach here in Oklahoma, leaving for Arkansas. Greg Werner joins the program. He was hired earlier this week to be the head coach at Van Buren. Coach, first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us on the show. What led to your decision to leave Poteau now and take over a Van Buren program in Arkansas?
Well, one thing for sure is, and I feel good about where we've left Poteau. I think Poteau's in a lot better shape, and they're poised for some great things there. So I felt good about where I've left that program, and I'm from this area near Van Buren, so this is kind of my stopping point and where I hope to be, and just a chance at Van Buren. Van Buren's a town with tremendous football tradition, and maybe fell on some hard times, but I definitely think there are plenty of things there that can make it happen.
Now, let me ask you this. You mentioned leaving the program better than when you found it, and you mentioned Van Buren has struggled a little bit. Do you take the same mindset that you did heading into Poteau there, leading them to a championship appearance a couple years ago? Do you try to take the same approach headed to Van Buren?
Well, I think the blueprint's the same. I think it always changes a little bit with the school, but it's definitely a thing. I mean, I think we've got to make football important again. We've got to learn how to work and do all those things. But I think you do a lot of the same things, and hopefully it will work again. But man, we got a great staff and a lot of great kids, so I think it's definitely in place.
Let me ask you this, Coach. We're talking with the newest head coach in Van Buren, former Poteau head coach Greg Werner here on the OKPREPS RoundUp. What would be the best memory in your tenure at Poteau? Obviously, you make it to the championship game a couple years ago in Class 4A, have a little bit of a Cinderella run to make it to the title game. I don't think a lot of people expected you guys to get there before the season, and you kind of shocked Class 4A making it there. Is that the best memory, or is it something else in the last couple of years?
I think, those are great memories, and I don't want to put they're tremendous memories, and beating Douglas to go to the finals and all those things were tremendous. My greatest memory are the kids and the relationships you build with those kids. I have been so blessed at Poteau. I've had some great young men to coach, and they made me look a whole lot smarter than I was, and I just have great memories of the kids like Jace Pitchford and Roger Brashears and Austin Artsy and Jarrett Larimore, and I could go on, but that's my memory, is those kids who hopefully we had a good impact on their lives. I know they had a tremendous impact on my life, and going to miss those guys, but still keep in touch. But that's my greatest memory.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time this morning. We got to run because we got Kenny Evans coming up. This segment is almost a little bittersweet because we're seeing three really good Oklahoma high school coaches not only leave the state, but leave, go away for different programs. But we definitely wish you nothing but the best. Congrats on your career in Oklahoma, and good luck as you move to your new position at Van Buren.
Well, thank you, and we really appreciate the work you guys do for high school football in Oklahoma, and it's definitely tough to leave the state, but just thank you very much.
Absolutely, Coach. Good luck going forward. That's former Poteau head coach Greg Werner taking over a Van Buren program over there in Arkansas. Now joining us is the now former East Central head coach, now the defensive coordinator at Missouri Southern, headed back to the college game. Kenny Evans joins the program now. Coach, obviously a former NSU coach as well, spent the last several years at Northeastern State. first off, thanks for taking some time this morning to join us on the program. And I talked to you about this time last year when you were hired at East Central. At that time, did you think that you would ever entertain going back to the college game?
Well, I was really excited about the opportunity to coach in Tulsa in Tulsa Public Schools and to make a change. And I knew there was a possibility, but it wasn't something I went out and pursued or looked for. I had a couple of other opportunities to do some things back in the college game. Some of them were quite a distance away, and that's why I really wasn't that interested. But when Denver Johnson called, and of course I'm familiar with Missouri Southern and the facility changes they're in the process of making and have made so far, it really got me excited, and it's an opportunity I really couldn't pass up.
Hey, Kenny, it's Ben. How are you?
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for joining us. This last year, kind of ironic, being the head coach of East Central, you went back to Doc Wadley, played the Tigers there. Now you're going to go back this year as defensive coordinator of Missouri Southern. You just can't stop going away from that place.
I know. They can't keep me off that field. That's,
I know you went as the high school head coach. How different is that going to be going in as a defensive coordinator with Denver and all those guys at Southern?
Well, I was 32 years in college, and most of it was as an assistant coach and as a coordinator. And so, the familiarity of doing that is there, and it's just that'll be the most important game that week, and that's I'm looking forward to each week, and coaching with Denver is going to be very exciting. He's such a quality person. I'm really excited about this opportunity.
We're talking with the newest defensive coordinator at Missouri Southern, former East Central head coach Kenny Evans, here on the OKPREPS RoundUp. I'm your host, Michael Knight, joined by Ben Johnson. Coach, let me ask you this, because we mentioned it in our first segment. East Central and the head coaching position has almost become a revolving door over the last several years, with new head coaches coming up nearly every single year. I think this will be the fifth different head coach in 5 years for East Central. Where is the program right now? Do you think the new head coach, is going to have some troubles because of all the uncertainty around the position, or is this a program that is going to have no problem adjusting to whoever the new coach is?
Well, that's one of my biggest regrets was it wasn't a planned deal. It wasn't something I pursued, as I mentioned, and to leave a great group of kids and an administration and some teachers and people there at East Central that have done so many things to get the whole school and the program in order. I think it's tough when you have change, but at the same time, there's some great talent there as always, and there's some great kids, and we feel like in the whole school system we've brought in a great discipline system. And those things are going to lend itself to whoever takes that job, and the talent pool will continue to be there at East Central.
Now, Kenny, you're on your way out, and so is Trayvon Cherry, and East Central's had a pretty good run here of quarterbacks. Who's going to be next in line to take the reins and lead the Cardinal offense?
Well, there's a couple of young kids that are there that that we were going to look at this spring, and then, of course, one of the great athletes there, Landon Wolf, was someone that we'd also talked about because of his athletic ability, and he actually can throw the ball pretty well. Looking at for next year, and of course that's going to be up to the new staff. And but I know that there's some talent. Of course, there's some great receivers there too, and Landon was one of them. And the biggest thing is there's some young offensive linemen that are going to be very good football players, and defensive linemen that are going to be very good football players over the next 2 and 3 years.
Well, Coach, we appreciate you taking some time this morning. And as I've said, with the last couple of coaches, Brian Pratt, who's leaving McAlester, Greg Werner, who's leaving Poteau, we hate to see you leave the state of Oklahoma and leave the high school game, but you've definitely made it a little bit better in your year at East Central. And good luck, without a doubt, your new venture at Missouri Southern.
Well, thank you. And the Oklahoma high schools, and particularly this area of the state, is going to be our home ground. We're going to be in the high schools a lot, and Denver Johnson believes in Oklahoma high school football just as I do, and so these coaches and these players are going to see us a lot from Missouri Southern.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, good luck in your next venture.
Thank you.
That is Kenny Evans, the newest defensive coordinator at Missouri Southern, leaving East Central without a head coach. They'll have their 5th head coach in a span of 5 years come this fall. You start with Travis Hill, Ben Bowling, who didn't make it to spring ball, Bobby Klink, who left to become the defensive coordinator at Broken Arrow, and now Kenny Evans leaving to become the defensive coordinator at Missouri Southern. So they'll have a 5th head coach in a span of 5 years. No idea on the timetable there. You have to assume that the athletic department at Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud, Mick Wilson, they're going to move fast to try to get somebody in to that position before spring football rolls around.
Yeah, you don't want to go through May and that a certain time frame that you have and not get anything accomplished. So getting a coach in there is going to be imperative. And when I talked to Kenny, he was telling me that Missouri Southern's getting ready to start their spring football. And I thought that was kind of weird, but then I thought about it. They didn't have a head coach or a coaching staff, so they couldn't have done anything. So
right.
They're getting a late start on spring ball, so they might be doing it when high schools are.
All right, we're going to skip our last time out and dive right on into the Your Take debate here as well. We only have a couple more minutes on the roundup this week. And we asked the poll question underneath the video player, what baseball team has had the most impressive first half of the 2015 season? Each and every single week we'll wrap up the show with our Your Take debate. Ben and I will debate who we believe is the correct answer to the poll question. We had several options. When I say several, I mean 15 total. Probably our largest poll that we'll ever have. Broken Arrow, Edmond, Santa Fe, Jenks, Stillwater representing 6A. You have Carl Albert representing 5A. Blanchard, Weatherford representing 4A, Sperry, Verdigris, and Vian representing 3A. Then you have Silo, Roth, and Leedy down below, as well as Red Oak as some of the smaller schools. Ben, I'll start with you. Who do you think has had the most impressive first half of the season?
Well, I'm kind of going in a different direction, but I went with Verdigris just because we know what Verdigris baseball is, and for them to still be on top of 3A, I mean, we talked to Sperry coach earlier about how deep 3A is.
Yeah.
And yet Verdigris has the respect of 49 coaches out there to get 49 first-place votes, clearly the number one team. And, I mean, we're talking about a Vian, Sperry, Beggs team. They're all good, but Verdigris still continues to just chug away with the dynasty in 3A.
I cheated a little bit on this question because I don't think that we can count this week as being part of the first half of the regular season. But I'm counting it anyway. I don't care.
Okay.
Because of what Weatherford did this week.
Okay.
I mean, they've been so impressive, and you can't.
You're really just making it up to them. Right
I'm really making it up after what I said last week, that they probably aren't going to be the number one team in 4A. They absolutely made me eat crow, and I'm wrong without a doubt. But Weatherford has had one heck of a week, beating one of the top teams in Class A earlier this week like a drum. It wasn't close. They beat Carl Albert in impressive fashion. They beat number 2 Blanchard in what could be a preview of the 4A state title game. And they could win the whole tournament, beating another 5A state tournament team in Shawnee. I know they're not the number one pick of our poll. Broken Arrow ran away with the Your Take poll this week. A lot of the Tiger faithful coming out to show Broken Arrow some love. And as always, you can always vote right under the video player, or you can go to OKPREPS.tv throughout the week. OKPREPS.tv/Your Take, and each Monday we'll release the poll that leads up to Saturday's debate. This week it was who has had the best first half of the regular season in baseball. Broken Arrow running away with it this week, and look, I mean, pretty good choice. All of them are good choices. That's the thing. I made the choices, and I know that they've all had good first halves of the season, so there's really no wrong answer.
Way to really pat yourself on the back there.
Yeah, I'm giving it up to myself. You compared me to Al Eschbach earlier. Now you can compare me to Jim Traber. Because I'm giving it up to myself. I didn't put any wrong answers in here. They're all good. Everybody gets a ribbon.
Weatherford's number one. Let's go.
Weatherford is number one. Doesn't matter what happens today against Shawnee. They're number one in 4A next week.
And number one in Michael Knight's heart. I almost got that backwards. Sorry.
Yeah. It is there, too. By the way, a sneak peek of next week's Your Take poll. We're going to release it on Monday, but it's been a discussion here today. the mass exodus of Oklahoma high school coaches, not only leaving their program but leaving the state. You also have coaches earlier this offseason who have just resigned and left the game of football because they just don't want to be a part of it. Is that becoming a growing issue, and is that something that we might have to deal with not only this year but in years to come? Is this going to be a growing trend? We'll debate that next week. We'll have that poll available starting on Monday, but get ready for that. I mean, this it's a little concerning when you see more coaches resign to take out-of-state positions. Look, I get it if you're going to go to the college level, like Kenny Evans. He's probably more fit for the college level, but if you're going to get paid better by going out of state by almost double in one of these coaches' scenarios, if you're just resigning to resign because you're done coaching and you want to go into something else, what's the state of high school football in Oklahoma right now if some of our best coaches are either leaving or just not coaching anymore because they don't want to? It could turn into a trend that's not very good and not very healthy for this state's number one sport, which is without a doubt football. All right, that does it for us. Another high school show in the books with the OKPREPS Roundup. We'll be back as we are each and every single Saturday morning, not only on the Sports Animal, but on okpreps.tv/roundup. I have a long list of thank yous to give out because we fit in all 10 interviews in a span of 2 hours.
Impressive.
Pretty good out of us. I'll pat you on the back
and
myself on the back. Also, go D-backs tonight. Go Archie Bradley making his Major League debut. Hope he shuts down the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw tonight in Arizona. Our thanks goes out to Larry Turner, Danny Morgan, Justin Timmerman at Sperry. The Sperry baseball program is off to an undefeated start. Josh Raney, our thanks to Clay Martin. Congrats on the new gig, NFL ref. Chandler Garrett for joining the program. The names it's almost too many. Also, thanks to Sean Garner, as we talk to him each and every single week of Excel Performance Training. Kenny Evans, Brian Pratt, Brent Marley, Greg Warner. Thank you. Also, thank you to Spencer Mayberry and Joshua Stokes. He's Ben Johnson. I'm Michael Knight. Join us each and every single Saturday morning for the OKPREPS Roundup on the Sports Animal, as well as streaming on the OKPREPS Network.
This is Sean Garner, owner and head strength coach of Excel Performance Training. Being Oklahoma's only MBSC Thrive licensed facility, we're going to help athletes with injury reduction, avoid overuse injuries, and of course, get you bigger, faster, and stronger. We want you to be able to move properly in our controlled environment, so when you're playing on the field or court, it becomes second nature. All athletes will have a detailed workout plan and work in groups of less than 10 other athletes. So if you're ready to go all in and train with the pros, call us at 918-949-4223 or online at excelperformancetraining.com. Next season starts now with Excel Performance Training.